Before the 2026 season begins, the Ravens know they have a major challenge ahead of them. This team has Lamar Jackson, one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the NFL, a new coaching staff, and the opportunity to build an offense with a different identity. But there are 4 problems Baltimore needs to solve, because small details can make a huge difference when the goal is competing at the highest level of the league. These areas show where the offense needs to improve and reveal the challenges Declan Doyle will face in his first season leading the offensive unit. The question is, can the Ravens fix these issues and build an offense that becomes even harder to defend? Today, we're breaking down the 4 numbers that could define Baltimore's offensive future in 2026. And the final one might be the biggest challenge of them all. What's up, Flock? My name is Tiago. I'm a Brazilian Ravens fan. And welcome back to Purple Flock TV. When I look at the Ravens offense from last season, there's one number that raises a major concern for 2026. Zay Flowers was responsible for a huge portion of the team's passing production, while the other players were far behind. The gap between him and the second leading receiver on the roster was 789 yards, showing that Baltimore struggled to find other reliable options throughout the season. Having Zay Flowers as the main offensive weapon is not a problem. Every team trying to compete at a high level needs players who can change games. The problem starts when an offense becomes too dependent on one player. NFL defenses study these patterns. They know where the biggest threat is, and they can create strategies designed to limit that player during a game. Mark Andrews finished the season with 422 receiving yards, falling far behind Flowers' production. After years of being one of Lamar Jackson's biggest weapons, that decline created a major gap in the offense. I believe Baltimore needs to find more balance in this area, because Lamar needs multiple players who can step up when the team needs them the most. Declan Doyle will have a huge responsibility in his first season leading the offense. The mission will be creating an attack, where Zay remains a major threat without carrying the entire weight of the passing game, whether it comes from Devontae Walker, new talent, or the development of other players already on the roster. The Ravens need to find that balance, because the next change will come from the structure of the offense itself and the way Lamar Jackson is used. One of the biggest changes we could see in the Ravens offense in 2026 is the way Lamar Jackson operates the offense before the snap even happens. Last season, Baltimore used shotgun or pistol formations on 63.7% of offensive snaps, continuing a style that had been part of the team's identity for several years. This approach worked in many situations, but it also made the offense more predictable against certain defenses. The interesting part is that Declan Doyle arrives with a different vision, influenced by coaches like Sean Payton and Sean McVay. Both have built successful offenses by using more under-center formations, creating a stronger connection between the running game and the passing game. In a conversation about offensive philosophy, Payton explained the importance of marrying the pass game with the run game, and that idea could become a bigger part of Baltimore's offense. I see this potential change as an opportunity for Lamar Jackson to expand his game even further. When the quarterback is under center, the defense has to wait longer to figure out if the play will be a run, a quick pass, or a play-action concept. That creates hesitation for defenders and can open opportunities that were not available as often before. The biggest question will be how Doyle adapts this concept to Lamar's unique style. The Ravens quarterback has always been dangerous because of his ability to create plays outside of the original design. So Baltimore cannot simply remove the things that make Lamar special. The goal has to be adding new tools to the offense, making the team less predictable while keeping the threat that exists whenever the ball is in his hands. And this change in structure could also create another important adjustment: the pace this offense plays with during games. Another number that stands out when analyzing the Ravens' offense is the amount of time the team spent on each play last season. Baltimore averaged 30.6 seconds per snap, ranking among the teams that took the longest to execute plays in the NFL. This style was not as extreme as it was during the early years of the Greg Roman era, but it still showed an offense that often played at a more controlled pace. The problem with a slower offense is that it gives defenses time to breathe and make adjustments before the next play begins. When a team changes its tempo, it forces opponents to react faster, makes substitutions more difficult, and creates more chances to find favorable matchups. For a team with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, the ability to speed things up should be one of the biggest weapons available. Declan Doyle has already shown a different approach when it comes to offensive tempo. During his time with the Bears, the offense operated at an average of 28.6 seconds per play, ranking among the fastest in the NFL. With the influence of the coaches who helped shape his career, the expectation is that Baltimore will use more variations in speed, mixing controlled moments with more aggressive attacks. I believe this could be one of the most interesting changes for Lamar. He is a quarterback who can destroy defenses when he has space to make quick decisions, whether with his arm or his legs. The goal is not turning the offense into a constant race against the clock, but finding the right moments to pressure opponents and prevent defenses from controlling the pace of the game. And after improving the speed and structure of the offense, there is still another area where Baltimore needs to regain the dominance it once had: performance inside the red zone. For most of his career, Lamar Jackson has been one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the NFL once he gets close to the end zone. His ability to create plays with his arm, while also being a threat as a runner, has always put defenses in difficult situations. However, last season showed a different reality, with one number standing out. Lamar's red zone passer rating dropped to 68.4. That performance was far below the standard everyone expected from him. Lamar completed only 41.5% of his passes in the red zone, a massive drop for a quarterback who dominated in these situations during his MVP seasons. When the field gets smaller and every play carries more weight, finding offensive solutions becomes even more important. A big part of this problem came from the Ravens struggling to find players who could consistently win matchups near the end zone. Zay Flowers was the team's biggest threat through the air, but his physical profile created some limitations in those situations. Baltimore needed more options who could win battles in tight spaces and create separation against defenses playing more aggressively. The offense also struggled in short yardage situations, especially when it needed to convert third downs with only a few yards to go or finish drives with touchdowns. To me, this is an area Baltimore cannot ignore, because great teams have to turn strong drives into points. Declan Doyle will have the challenge of creating new answers, whether through scheme changes, new receivers, or different ways of using players already on the roster. But all of these offensive adjustments depend on one bigger question: which numbers need to change for Baltimore to have a truly complete offense in 2026?
If you're enjoying this breakdown, smash that like button to help the purple flock grow.
When we put all these numbers together, it becomes clear that the Ravens' offense does not need a complete rebuild. Instead, it needs improvement in specific areas. The 789-yard gap between Zay Flowers and the rest of the receivers, the 63.7% of snaps in shotgun or pistol, the 30.6 second per play, and the 68.4 red zone passer rating all highlight areas where Baltimore needs to find answers. These numbers show an offense that was still able to produce in many moments, but also develop patterns that the best defenses in the NFL could take advantage of. Lamar Jackson remains one of the biggest weapons in the league. But even the best quarterbacks need a system that creates opportunities and spreads responsibility across multiple players. The arrival of Declan Doyle represents a new offensive phase for Baltimore. He brings ideas learned from coaches like Sean Payton and Sean McVay, two names known for creating efficient offenses that are difficult to predict. The biggest challenge will be turning those concepts into something that fits Lamar's strengths, the receiver's abilities, and the identity of the Ravens' offensive line. I see 2026 as a season where small adjustments can create a major difference. The offense does not need to abandon its identity. It needs to add new layers that make defenses work harder to understand what is coming before every snap. If Baltimore can create more balance in the passing game, vary its formations, increase the tempo at the right moments, and become dominant in the red zone again, this offense could reach a much more dangerous level next season. When we look at everything the Ravens need to adjust on offense in 2026, it becomes clear that this team has a major opportunity ahead. The issue is not a lack of talent, because Lamar Jackson remains one of the biggest weapons in the NFL, and Baltimore has players capable of making an impact. The biggest challenge will be turning that talent into an offense that is more balanced, less predictable, and more efficient in the moments that decide games. I see Declan Doyle's arrival as a chance to bring new ideas to this offensive unit, spreading the ball around better, changing the way Lamar is used, increasing the tempo when needed, and improving red zone efficiency could make a huge difference. Small adjustments in these areas could completely change the way defenses view the Ravens next season. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 4 changes do you think will be the most important for the Ravens offense in 2026? Leave your comment because I want to know what you think. And if Baltimore can solve these problems, this offense could be ready to take a major step forward next season.
And if you're a true Ravens fan and love keeping up with everything happening around the team, don't leave this video without sharing it with a friend who's just as passionate. They're definitely going to enjoy this. See those videos on your screen right now? I picked the first one especially for you, and the other is recommended by YouTube. Go check them out and I'll see you in the next video.